Before I start sharing my thoughts, I'd like to thank the organizers for bringing this event down to Ondo State. Can we applaud them one more time for doing this? It's amazing. I'm so excited about it. And I have to also thank them for giving me this opportunity to share some of my most precious thoughts, ideas, and perspective. Thank you so much, TEDxYabaStreet. In the time that I have, I will be sharing with you some ideas that will help you become better communicators going forward. And I've titled these communication codes: the mic, the man, and the men. Let's start with the mic. Some years ago, I saw a movie titled Ratatouille. It's the movie about a rat who desired to be the most popular chef in the whole of France. This rat by name Remy had the unusual ability to smell bad leftovers and poisons, but to also combine ingredients together to make sumptuous meal. In that movie was a rat kingdom, and close to that rat kingdom was a house lived in by an old woman. And you can already guess that every time the rats needed something to eat, this woman's kitchen was their go-to place. On a certain day, Remy followed a group of armed rats to steal from this woman's kitchen. And while they were packing stuff, Remy saw a book written by the most popular chef in the whole of France at the time by the name Gusto. Gusto had just released a book with the title, Anyone Can Cook. Anyone Can Cook. Remy read this book, and after reading the book, he had the desire to pursue his dreams some more. Not too long from that time, Gusto died. And when Gusto died, he felt like there was no other person who could beat his record. In fact, we learned that he died as a result of depression, because at some point there was a popular food critic who criticized his book and made him get depressed, and then he died from that. But the world could not wait to know who the next finest chef in the whole of France will be. Remy, on the other hand, behind the scene, was improving his skill to become a very good cook. To cut the long story short, Remy eventually became the most popular chef, the finest chef, not just in the whole of Paris, but in the whole of France. You see, that movie inspired me in many ways than one as a public speaker. Public speaking is the act of sending what is in my head, which is information, what is in my mind, which is my feelings, to your head and mind. If I can successfully send what is in my head and what is in my mind, regardless of my language, I have communicated. I will share with you two powerful lessons you have to learn if you want to become a better communicator from the movie I just spoke about. The first lesson is this, and as I say it, please say it after me. Say, you have a voice. You see, your voice is your ability to communicate your special giftings in your own way. In fact, I will put it this way, that your voice is God's gift to you, and how you use your voice is your gift to God. There are two ways to see your voice. Number one, your voice could be seen as a societal leveler. In other words, that we don't live in a world where only the rich can speak and those who are not rich cannot speak. Do we? We don't live in that kind of world. In a fair and an unbiased environment, when the rich and the poor go to court, remember, in a fair and an unbiased environment, when they both go to court, they both will be listened to and justice will be served. So you have a voice. You have a voice. The second thing, a part of that again, is the second way you could see your voice, is that your voice is a tool of engagement. Your voice is a tool of engagement. Just like a gun in the hand of a thief makes you fear, but the same gun in the hand of a policeman makes you feel safe. So also is your voice. You could use it positively or negatively. You could use your voice to inspire. You could use your voice to inform. You could use your voice to encourage. And for the guys here, you could use your voice to toast a lady. The second thing about that movie that I picked from public speaking, about public speaking, is that anyone can speak. Anyone can speak. What's your excuse? If you tell me that you are a stammerer, you stutter, that's why you cannot communicate, I will show you Steve Harvey, who is a TV host and a comedian. If you tell me that you have been raped, that's why your voice cannot be heard, I will show you Oprah Winfrey, who was raped many times by her cousins. If you tell me again that you are from a poor background, poor family, I will show you Les Brown. If you tell me that you are an introvert, and you know introverts, we don't talk, we are very reserved, I will show you Simon Sinek. And if you tell me, if there's no other reason to say again, and then you now tell me that, okay, the reason I can't speak It's because I am from Ekiti State. And in Ekiti State, we eat pounded yam, so we cannot speak. I will show you Oluwapelumi Awe, who is also from Ekiti State. The idea is for every time you give an excuse why you cannot do something, there is somebody in a worse position who is making moves to get that thing done. Is that correct? Absolutely. So there is no excuse. And every time you think about giving an excuse, always remember Remy the rat. Always remember Remy the rat. The man. I have a question to ask, and I want you to answer that question in your mind. That question is this: how well do you know yourself? How well do you know yourself? If all you know about yourself is your age, your height, your favorite food, your favorite color, you have a lot of work to do. In fact, as a person who wants to become a better communicator, there is one question you have to ask yourself. Think of John Maxwell. Think of Simon Sinek. Think of Fela Drotoye and all other incredible speakers that you know about. They all had to ask themselves one important question. And that one question is what I'm asking you today. Where do your thoughts come from? Where do your thoughts come from? Where do your most important thoughts come from? There are many places our thoughts come from, but I will share with you one today. And that one place is your experience. Your experiences. Ladies and gentlemen, your experiences are powerful because they are peculiar to you. And we don't forget our experiences. Even if we claim we have forgotten our experiences, remember, one incident in the present can trigger something that happened many years ago to come to fore today. Your experiences are very special, and then they are peculiar to you and designed by the Creator for you. Let's say you invite Mr. Lingo Dangote, who today is one of the richest men in the world, to address a group of young entrepreneurs on how to start a business. He probably will start by sharing how that at the age of 8, he will take from his allowance to buy sweets and give his friends to sell for him for profit. Lesson 1 from there could be, start small. He could go ahead to tell you that in 1977, he graduated with a business degree from a university in Egypt. Lesson 2, as a young business owner, get some education. He could even go further to share with you how that when he returned to Nigeria from Egypt, he went straight to Lagos to put his business together. Lesson 3, as a young business owner, go to where your audience are. He could then even say that at some point he had to borrow money to finance his business and paid back his uncle within 3 months. Lesson 4, never borrow for consumption. I could go on and on. See, it is easier to tell people what happened to you. And the mere fact that nobody can contest your experience with you should make you even confident to share your experiences. Your experiences are special, ladies and gentlemen. They are peculiar to you. But if they're really special to you, why don't you write them down? We write down dates, ideas, names, phone numbers that we feel are important to us. But we don't document our experiences at all. Why don't we do that? Because there is something about documenting your experiences that makes you a good communicator. In fact, I know many of us here, we like taking mental notes. But it's high time we start taking physical notes. Because in the day when you will be called spontaneously to speak on any platform, you will only have to draw from the well of the experience that you have documented down already. The men. There are 4 questions I want to ask you today. And I want you to please indicate by show of hands. How many of you came here today to get inspired? To get inspired. All right, thank you. How many of you came here to get informed? To get informed. Beautiful. How many of you came here today to discover something new? Okay, if you want to up, yeah. How many of you came here today to get entertained? Nobody is for me. I like you, brother. You're very truthful. You waved. Thank you all for responding. The idea is every one of you seated here today came here for a reason. And the implication is that everyone who stands on this red carpet today has to try to meet your need. If we don't do that, you will feel disappointed. The next time we call for a TEDx event in Ondo City, you won't even come. You feel discouraged. And then you will feel you have wasted your time. That is what will happen. So every person who comes here today has to try to answer your heartfelt question. But how do I answer your questions if I don't know them? In fact, what are the things I could begin to put my mind on that will help me to understand your needs and meet them as soon as possible? I have titled that as CAP, and it's not spelled your normal CAP, leave that aside. It's spelled KAP. The K there stands for knowledge level, ladies and gentlemen. What do you know now? If I want to come and speak to you, I need to know what you know already at this time. Because it will help me to maybe skip some part of my speech. It could help me to emphasize on certain points. It could even help me to say everything I want to say that you have heard before, but this time around in a different way. Just like every time you see a movie that has a thief and a rat and a police in it, you already know that at the end of the movie, it doesn't matter how many policemen the thief kills, at the end of the movie, the thief will be caught. But what you want to see is you want to see how the thief will be caught. You want to see the process by which the thief will be caught. And that's why we see movies that are crime movies. And so if I know what you know already, and maybe everything I want to share is what you know already, I need to try my best as much as possible to change my process to getting to the end point of my story and of my speech. The second thing you want to note is action level. What have my audience done with what they heard before? What have you done with what you heard before? What results did you get? What result did you get? What constraints did you have? If you have not done anything, why haven't you done anything? I need to know that. Because I need to know if you have time constraints, if there's cost constraints, if you have people constraints, you don't have enough persons to do what you want to do. Online, I saw a script post written by a friend of mine who said he has always longed to put together a TEDx event in Ondo City. But he never found a team to make that happen. But this is happening here today because a few people came together and decided within themselves that this event has to be possible. So I need to know what my audience have done before so that I can help them get to the next level in their destiny. The last thing is P, present reason level. Every human think rationally. We are all rational beings. We are all rational beings. And the idea is the organizer of this event put this event together because of a reason. And a way to know how to meet the needs of your audience and meet them. Remember, the goal is to meet the needs of your audience, not your need. The goal is to meet the need of the audience. And so if I want to know what the needs are, ladies and gentlemen, I need to maybe even ask the organizers to tell me why they have put the event together. To tell me 3 goals this event must achieve today. To tell me the age bracket of my audience. To tell me the educational background of my audience so that I can maybe bring down my complex English, use some simple grammatical expressions and not say too much proverbs that is in Igbo land. And be sure that my audience can understand everything I'm going to be saying. When you know all of this and get the facts together, remember you have to write down. There's something you have to leave here with today is to learn to write down. It's to learn to write down. So after writing all of that down, you can then begin to connect the dots. You can then begin to connect the dots from your speech to meeting the needs of the audience. And as you speak to them, you will know. If you are meeting their needs, you will know. How will you know? They will nod at some point. They will respond and so on. For those who are very emotional, when you touch a point in their life that meets their need, they will start shedding tears. You know that, okay, you have touched somebody in the audience while speaking to them. Communication is easier when you accept that you have a voice and that your voice has to be heard. But more than that, ladies and gentlemen, is to understand that you have to know yourself. You have to know where your thoughts come from. You have to write your thoughts down. You have to know the knowledge level of your audience. You have to know the action level of your audience. You have to know the present reason level of your audience. Ladies and gentlemen, as I wrap up, the graveyard is full of many ideas, many dreams, many solutions that we never heard about. Because the recipient of these ideas were not confident enough to stand out and express their view even in a noisy world. I hope and I believe strongly that as you use the tips I have shared here and even more, you will become 10 times better in how you communicate to 2 or to 2,000 people. Have I helped you? Have I helped you? Thank you for listening to me.